Welcome back to my channel again. This is Sebastian Fortune. Um, it's been over a year now since I have purchased the Can-Am, the RT Limited, and I have not done as much riding, but I aim to change that going forward because it is a shame that an amazing piece of machinery like this should just sit in the garage and collect dust. So it is my goal to get on this thing as frequently as I can and enjoy the outdoors. Last weekend I was at Eagle Canyon Raceway in Decatur, Texas. I know this channel is initially it was about mental health and trying to do the things that was necessary, I think, in order to stay sane, especially when COVID-19 started 2 years ago. And one of the things that I purchased was this Can-Am RT because I felt that this will help me to get out in the open air and do something that I love to do, which is ride. But I also have another passion, which is automobile and speed, the need for speed. And so last weekend, I was driving in anger my car at Eagle Canyon Raceway. And it was very, very, very good. Actually, I enjoyed myself quite a lot. But this weekend is about relaxing. And so I took the Can-Am out to get a nice ride. The weather was quite temperate. It was windy, and that's one of the reasons why I like the RT Limited so much. Even though it was windy and there was some good wind gusts, it handled it very nicely. You know, I could feel the wind trying to move the bike a little bit, but it was solid and planted. I remember when I test rode the Riker Rally as well, the wind was actually throwing it all over the place. In fact, it felt a little bit scary to me to ride it on the highway because of, especially coming up behind, you know, big trucks, 18-wheelers and those kind of things. It seems a little bit a handful, you know, but this RT Limited, it just rides so beautiful. I mean, it just feels so smooth. Very, very little impact. In terms of the wind on the bike itself. I mean, this bike it rides like a Cadillac, so to speak. I have never ridden a Gull Wing, you know, that Honda touring bike. I've never ridden any of the Harley Davidson touring bike. I did own a Softail, a Fat Boy, but that's more of a cruiser style bike than a touring bike. But I hear a lot of good things about the Gull Wing and the Harley Davidson trikes and some of their touring bike. But I must, tip my hat to Can-Am. I know many people will argue that it's not quite a bike because it doesn't have 2 wheels; it has 3. But I mean, I can't tell, right? The air blowing through my hair. I could feel it in my face. I could feel the wind on my face. I feel as though I'm in the outdoors enjoying the sunlight beating down on my shoulders, on my back, on my arms in the days when I'm wearing short sleeve. Today I have my Harley Davidson leather jacket on with my gloves and helmet. And if you look at that flag just to the right, that ought to give you an indication of just how windy it was. But I was comfortable on the bike riding to Arlington today. I did remove the pedal commander because I thought I was going to get rid of the bike. You know, I have a video where I mentioned the reason why I was going to get rid of the bike, but there's really no need for that anymore. But in the anticipation of getting rid of the bike, I removed the pedal commander. But now that I'm going to keep it, I will put the pedal commander back on. And I must say, the bike has very good responsiveness, in my opinion. but the pedal commander wakes it up. I mean, I don't know if any one of you out there have tried the pedal commander, but it simply wakes this bike up tremendously. It's throttle by wire or drive by wire, and so you have to pull the throttle back a significant amount to get it to go fast, or pick up the pace, or whatever the case might be. With the pedal commander, you don't have to pull that much. It's right there, almost at the tip of your finger. You twist the throttle, and instant. And the beautiful thing about it, of course, you have the different settings. So if you don't want anything too aggressive, like Sport Plus, Sport, you can tune it to your liking and get the throttle response that you want or that you feel comfortable with. In fact, when I first tried the pedal commander, I was it almost threw me off the bike because I wasn't expecting that much of a difference in terms of the throttle response, but it was very, very, very good, and so it definitely awakened the bike up for me in terms of the throttle response. Um, the highway riding is beautiful. The suspension is soft. It feels really, really good. Very compliant. In fact, if you override the bike with all of the safety features that's built in, it won't let you get in trouble. Meaning, if you try to override a corner or something like that, it will dial back a little bit and try to balance the bike for you. Some people turn it off, to try to get a little bit more on the edge type riding. I certainly wouldn't recommend that unless, of course, you're an expert or a professional and you want to experience the bike at a different level. But for me, just the way it is right now feels absolutely beautiful. This lady right here, she just got on the highway and she almost ran into me. I guess she was a little bit impatient. She needed to get on with her business. I try not to let these kind of things, get me. There she is to the left, passing me up again. She definitely wants to get on. There she is right there. She wants to get on with her Sunday. And I'm sorry, madam, if I was a little bit in your way. I was just trying to, run with the flow of traffic. But anyway, yes, one regret that I have is that I didn't ride this bike enough. And I cannot honestly give a good excuse for why I didn't take this bike out. I mean, if anybody is thinking of getting this bike, and I'm not being sponsored by BRP or Can-Am or anything like that. I'm only speaking sincerely from my experience with the bike up to now, and the few times that I have ridden it over the last year and a half, it has always been an amazing joy to ride. With gas prices a little bit higher now, it took a little bit more to fill up than normal, but that's expected. The war going on in Ukraine, and as a result of that, some of the things have changed, gas prices, inflation, things like that. But that's no excuse not to get this bike out as often as you can. I mean, you could take a day trip, ride out somewhere, have lunch, have brunch, have dinner, I don't know, ride back home. There is so many different use cases or so many different things, options available to you with this bike. If you get caught in the rain, I've driven it in the rain before. It feels just as comfortable in the rain as it does in the wind, in the sun. It handles nicely in the corners. Of course, I haven't overridden it in the corners. I've driven it at the speed limit and at a sensible pace, and it's quite nimble. Change of direction is quite nice. It feels good in the corners. Very compliant with the suspensions and stuff, so the ride is smooth. I also, in the back of my my passenger seat, has the handrest, the handrails on both sides, and heated seats. So if you did have a partner, wife, husband, or whatever who will be riding with you, even a child, they will be very, very comfortable back there. In fact, someone could perhaps even read a book while riding with you on a long, long, long journey. back there. Plus, if you get the helmet with the intercom system, you can have great conversations going on while you explore and enjoy this amazing machinery. Yeah, so all I have is nothing but positive. I mean, I did take it to the dealership a couple of times. One time there was a bit of an issue with a noise that I heard during turning. I took it to the dealer, and I think it had something to do with the Brembo brakes, but nothing major. I think there was an issue with my mirror flapping in the wind as well, and I took it in, and they were able to tighten that down. But aside from that, I have had very I've had no issues with this Can-Am RT Limited. Um, would I buy another one? Yes, of course. I would buy another one if I was in the market for another RT Limited, or if I were to trade it in, I would definitely trade it in on another Can-Am. Do I miss not being on a two-wheel motorcycle? Well, maybe sometimes, but the feel of this thing right here and the joy I get from riding it is more than enough to fill the gap of me riding a two-wheel motorcycle. In fact, I feel a lot safer on this. It's still a motorcycle to some extent, so you have to be aware of everything around you, be aware of who's trying to merge, because a lot of times people still don't see you. But anyway, the people that do see you, for them, it seemed to be eye candy. This lady, as I was getting onto the highway, just before as I was leaving my neighborhood, she was like, "Oh my God, this is so awesome. It looks like a lot of fun." Yes, ma'am, it is indeed a lot of fun. People come up and want to take a look at it and ask questions about it and so forth. So it not only is it a great piece of machinery to ride and the fun factor, but the people like to see it. People like to look at it and ask questions and so forth about it. So yeah, here I am at Arlington, the Highlands. Sometimes I just ride and come over here to get away from the house a little bit. This coming weekend, I'll see about going somewhere. So there she is. I call her Emerald. That color is beautiful. I think she is in still very, very good condition. Those lights right here didn't go on well for whatever reason. There's that space. I have no idea what that is. I think I may even have to replace that fender, or maybe because I scratched the paint a little bit right there trying to get that thing attached. And on the right side and left side over here, same thing. There's a bit of a gap in between the actual fender area and the light itself, the reflector. And I have no idea what that is. If you look at the speedometer, only 1,200 miles on there up to now. That's a shame, because I've had this for almost 2 years, a year and a half or so. I should have well in excess of 5,000, maybe even 10,000 miles on this thing right now, because there's absolutely no excuse or no reason for why I haven't ridden this thing as much as possible, right? So I love my Can-Am RT Limited. I think it was a very, very, very good purchase. I test rode the F3 also, the F3. And although the F3 felt very good as well, it looked pretty good, I went with the RT Limited because, to me, the ride on the RT Limited was more akin to a touring bike. You know what I'm saying? It felt more comfortable. It felt more planted. It has the responsiveness that the other one has. It has also the saddlebag, the trunk, the frunk up front. Of course, the F3 has the saddlebags on both sides, the trunk in the back, as well as the frunk up front as well. But I really, really, really like the RT Limited. And I know I lost some of you guys because obviously the channel was about the Can-Am, and I went and put up videos, with me on the track. And I apologize for that. I'm not just a one-trick pony. There are a lot of things that I have, a lot of passion, and it all revolve around motorcycle and automobile. And so I had to take that car to the track. It's a whole different level of stress relief for me. So I will continue to make content for the Can-Am. as well as make content for the other for my other passion as well. Um, I have a product, a piece that I have purchased, which is supposed to integrate with the lighting system on the Can-Am. And what it does is supposed to, whenever I lift off the throttle, it's supposed to flicker the brake light to give people in the back the indication that I'm about to slow down or I'm about to stop. And I looked on the internet to see if I could find um, instructions on how to install it. But I haven't been able to find anything that is specific to the RT Limited. I have seen something for a motorcycle, but I still don't know how to marry the instructions that I've seen for the motorcycle with my RT Limited. And so I'm going to see if I could find something else again this week. And if I do, then I'll go through the process of installing it. And then I'll record that and share it with the channel. It's a very safe, I mean, it's a safety feature. And when you're out there riding your Can-Am or your motorcycle, you want to be as visible as possible. You certainly don't want to, you want everybody to be able to see you, you know what I'm saying, so that they're aware of your intentions. If you're slowing down, if you lift off the throttle and the Can-Am is slowing down, obviously you want somebody behind you to be aware that you're slowing down. Right now, with the way it is, if I lift off the throttle without applying the brakes, the brake light doesn't come on, so it doesn't give any indication that I'm slowing down. So this new product is supposed to, when I lift off the throttle, flash the light 3 times to alert someone behind you of my intention to slow down or whatever the case might be, so that they're aware of me and will not inadvertently or accidentally rear end me. But anyway, thank you guys for joining me again. Like I said, I will do more to create content for this channel, content that is specific to the Can-Am. I had a beautiful Saturday. I had a wonderful Sunday, which is today, that I'm riding. And I'm looking forward to, not really, but I have to say it, I'm looking forward to the work week. And then of course, I'm even looking more forward to next weekend, where I will get on this bike and take it out again. Thank you for tuning in. Please like, share, and subscribe.